Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the July 8th, 2014 Conservation Commission meeting. We have in attendance Mr. Jordan. I think that's it that we have. Old business, open space update. I didn't update that yet. I didn't hear back from that guy. I still need to do that. Second, we have continuing the hearing for the notice of intent for David Elwood, 1066 Washington Street. We still don't have the DEP number?
No, we got, something from DEP, and
Okay.
I had talked to you today.
Yes.
He had requested a continuation because a number hasn't been issued because
Right.
he still has to supply more information to DEP.
Oh, what's DEP looking for?
Next, copies of a completed notice of intent, Forms 3 or Form 4, whichever is applicable. Copies of plans, calculations, and other documentation necessary to complete. Describe the purpose of work, wetlands, resource areas, and mitigation measures to protect the resource areas. That's XX. That's all I have.
Okay. So they just
And
were
this-
missing some stuff.
Right, and this is what they filled out for us. But
Right, but the DEP wants them to send them copies. They may
Of
not
that.
have sent them a complete set of what they submitted to
Okay.
us.
I think that's
Alright,
it. So
I'm-
actually, do we need to open the hearing up to continue it?
I think so.
I'd like to make a motion to open the hearing for the notice of intent for David Allwood of 1066 Washington Street, Abington.
I'll second.
Did I make that motion?
You made it.
Oh,
Oh,
second?
yeah, sorry, I make a motion to open the meeting.
Okay,
I'll
second?
second it.
All's in favor?
Aye.
So do we have a motion to continue the hearing until
July 22nd.
July 22nd?
Motion to continue.
Second. Oh, that
All-
was Russ.
Ross, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So we have continuance. A motion to close the hearing for, actually, no, we're just continuing it, so I don't have to close
Yeah,
it.
we don't have to close
We're good. Okay, new business here. Mr. Richard Jordan. We have,
Do you want to pass this back to Nancy?
yes, sorry about that. Actually, come on up, you can sit right up here with us. Actually, I stopped by Mr. Jordan's house and I noticed he was putting in some fill
I brought some
around the
pictures.
front. Excellent. So what I had him do is I wrote him a letter and had him come to the meeting tonight so we could discuss it and see what he has to do what he's gonna do, what the project is and what you're gonna do, so.
Basically, what I'm doing with the project is this brick wall. It's right on the sidewalk, and it's all falling apart. So I had started to have it taken down, but in the process of taking it down, while some of my land would be perfectly flush with the sidewalk, there is some portions of it at the edge that there's a huge drop. That would-
At the wall? Or?
Yeah, at the wall from like right here, right here, here's the sidewalk and here's the grass. So if I took the wall out, there would be a drop that if someone walked by it and misstepped, they could fall and hurt themselves. So in the process, I had got some fill to try to level that off. I was not aware that I needed to come see you guys beforehand. So when he stopped by, then I stopped the project until I could come by and present.
And the issue with this is that there's,
I have two borders that are along the river.
right, there's a Shoshamet River that runs right beside his property.
This cone here represents about 20 feet from the river where the underpass is for Route 139. And then it would just go straight up to where that wall is. So the woods are there's about 20 feet of trees and stuff that's still a ways from that, but it's still close enough.
Yeah, because the river, when I looked online, actually crossed over to 139 and
Right.
it goes under
Yes.
and it goes over across where that bridge that we looked at a while ago that had been built.
Oh, right.
So that's where this connects to, and there used to be a mattress factory here that used to be a ice cream factory. And before they took the building down, the river used to rush underneath like they left an open channel inside the building. It was crazy when we looked at it years and years ago. So that this is probably a fairly consistent flowing stream, so we definitely have a river here.
Yes, and then when it does rain, there's been times where it really does flow, a lot of rain, and will be a lot of water there.
So I think the first thing is you want to take down this wall.
Yes.
And then you just want to put fill along the wall?
Yeah, I don't want to, I want to make sure that it's flush against the sidewalk so that no one walking by would just fall over. But I'm not, it's going to be, kind of like here where it's not fully straight, but it's going more like an angle, the angle's not as steep. That's sort of how it's going to be going back towards this flagpole.
Okay.
And then it's just going to be pretty much grass.
Well, I think he has to file with us.
Right,
Because
that's
he's
the
doing
first
some-
one.
That's the first thing, is just you're gonna need to put some paperwork together.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think through what you might need to do to make it simple. How much fill do you think you're gonna bring in? Is it gonna be like one dump truck? Or?
I think I have a half a dump truck that was just dropped off, and I don't anticipate any more fill. It's just more
So is it like 10 cubic yards, you're thinking?
it's
Or-
probably less than that.
Okay.
Just the fill that you have right there, right now.
Yeah, I don't
That's-
plan on getting any other
more.
fill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because normally, he's working in the area that's
He's-
within that 100-foot of the
Right.
river, so it's a little more complicated typically. But I think all he's really trying to do is do a little regrading. I'd be more concerned about flood storage, like too much fill there. I'd be worried that we'd have some issues with, at this point, the water seems to be draining okay, that I just don't want to create a drainage problem either.
Right.
For me, I think just some siltation before he finishes and making sure that he grades. And that we have a limit on how much material we put down would be something I would think that would make sense to put in the application. Question I don't have in my mind is, I think he triggers a notice of intent, but I'm not sure. That's what I'm trying to figure out, whether we can get away with the request for determination, because it would certainly be simpler for him.
Right. There's a price issue to differential. I think an ODA is $35, and notice of intent is, how much is a notice of intent? 125?
Something like that, yeah.
In the grading, your grading, is it going to go all the way to the stream, or it's just?
No, I'm not even going to go near the woods. It's just, there's about 15 to 20 feet between the woods that ends and where this starts. I don't want to even go any of the trees. It's just because in this picture here, the woods are right over here. That cone represents 20 feet.
That's as far as you're going to go.
I plan on being around there. I don't plan on, going any, I'm definitely not going into the woods. I'm going to be around 20 feet. That's roughly where that cone is.
Right. And is your house right, where my pad is, it's right here?
Let's see if,
95 is right there, right in the corner.
95's there.
So what he's doing is around here.
yeah, if that's my house, what I'm doing is right over here, and this border, the river kind of runs right up like that.
So I suppose, it was said already, but do you think we would have any drainage more drainage from the street into the stream beside you? Would that be an issue, or?
I don't think so, but
He's on the sidewalk there, so.
that's the sidewalk.
There's a sidewalk which is.
Yeah, there's a sidewalk that's up. This is the sidewalk, there's the street, the sidewalk. There's this wall that I've already started taking it down, which was right in here. And that was just the continuation of it, where he, before it kept on going if I hadn't known about this.
You might get a little off the sidewalk, but nothing on.
Okay. So, to the first thing of whether, it's within the wetlands, it actually is, because it's 200 feet from a river. So that's a river, right? So.
And he's less than 100 feet.
Any activity, yeah, it's very hard not, by the way, in Abington to be within, 200 feet of. But so certainly that is a resource area. The wetland and our bylaws do apply. So a request for determination would be really whether it applies or not, and a notice of intent would be yes, it does apply, and this is what my project is. So, I think even though I want to, I actually always try and go for the cheapest and easiest way. It would seem to me that a notice of intent would map. The other thing is that companies would have things like and map and delineating wetlands, right?
Mhm.
So I suppose if we did a request for determination, we'd be saying that does apply, but it's not going to.
Be significant or?
What's the thing is that there's significant change, but we would have requirements, and those would be capital requirements.
Mhm.
Does that make
Looking at what he's trying to,
Jerry?
Are you taking the wall all the way down, all of the wall down?
It's taking the whole wall down, yes.
You're gonna make sure you take time to back up the asphalt? The fact that when you put this loom there, it could settle?
Well, I'm not doing it myself. The person, my contractor who's doing it is, he is actually, he's a wall paver. So he's the one he just recently paved my driveway and he's taking
Fine,
out.
no, but just the concern is that you've gotta back up with some good solid dirt where you take that wall out. Then so it does, if you put the loom down, put the seat down, it could settle, then,
Yeah.
Just that, or
So,
just
let's say if someone was walking along and a child stepped off the sidewalk and there would be a depression there.
Well, that's
And then you have to take.
Yeah.
the fact that
the order?
This is the
You
summertime.
want the
that-
notice?
And we,
Yeah.
and main purpose is so silt doesn't enter the river, so you've gotta, make sure that grass
What we
grows.
do say
Oh, yeah,
is,
so-
Hold
When
off
we make the
fall
Nancy,
grass
where we
in.
check the box, do we do
But,
that for this
whatever,
one?
put a silt fence or something like
Oh.
that.
Yeah, I would definitely do
This is, I
that.
mean, the thing is, back up what's underneath that wall came from.
Mhm.
That's why I got the fill, that's why I got the,
Upfront.
that's why we got the fill to begin with, was to back that up. I haven't even thought about that
I think
until,
maybe just a silt fence, a sock,
Yeah.
looking at it from where he's working, and then so nothing, but you gotta, if you put the grass in, if he puts the grass in now, make sure you're gonna stay right on top of it and keep it wet so it'll grow. If it doesn't, we're gonna have a hard rain and all that'll just wash right out into the.
oh yeah, I definitely plan
All
on,
right, all right, that's,
Yeah, I never thought about that, but it would weaken the pave and dry the pathway
Mhm.
if you're taking
He's
it away.
Yeah. So what your point is that he just needs to put a really good material there to
underneath,
back it
yeah,
up,
put-
rather
back
than
up the
just
side
loam that
with
he
the
gets.
wall.
But if he's got his contractor, he can hopefully
Well,
direct
fine,
him to
and
do
that's no
that.
problem, assuming that the person knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But, and the fact that the summer's here, it's gonna be hard to grow that grass, and then he's, say with the way the rains are coming lately, he puts the seed down, and the next day it'll be gone.
Actually, how did you feel that storm?
I didn't, I mean, most of it was more towards my house, but I
Yeah.
didn't really see anything, move.
Okay.
So then go ahead again. It should go easy for you.
Nancy went to print off a copy.
Yeah, so I think the discussion really is that, is an RDA appropriate or?
Yeah, it sounds like, as Kat
notice.
says, an RDA might well be appropriate.
We're just gonna take a look at the form we signed to,
Because there's a thing in it that says, even though it is within wetlands, it's not gonna change.
if he
We'll
was
have to put
doing
some
something more,
requirements.
yeah, I think we're gonna put some requirements. If he was doing something more significant, I would be inclined to say no. But where it's just it makes some structural sense what he's gonna do, and actually may make the flow better. We may get more overland flows before it goes to the river, so that might be better.
Right. Although,
Because it shouldn't just roll.
is there is this a driveway or this is a paved?
No, that's, this is the sidewalk, and this is where we had started to take out the wall already, so this is a continuation of this right here.
It goes up to up to your house.
Yes,
So he's gonna take it down, so probably what's happening is the rain may be on the sidewalk, but if it's draining around. So what I figure is if he takes it out gradual, it will probably just go over the grass. So it's gonna be very important that you restabilize that area and get the grass growing quickly.
'Cause the
Yes, I
wash-
definitely plan on.
You'll
getting-
lose everything you have there, but we don't want it in the river.
Oh, yeah, believe me, I want grass, you know.
I can imagine.
It's-
Because I mean, that will be the issue, the wash from Randolph Street.
Yeah,
The water will just come down.
right. Some of, there is a berm there, but if it's really wet, you may get some from the road.
There's, Well, number 2 is that the work is within an area subject to the section of the Act, but it will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area. Therefore, it's
I
intent.
think we're in the buffer zone, don't you?
Yeah. The work, number 3 is the work described is within the buffer zone, but will not alter an area subject to protection of the Act. Therefore, the work does not require notice of intent subject to the following conditions. So, how's that when we just lay out our... So we're looking at number 3, will I make a motion?
Well, I think he's going to submit the request for determination. I don't
Yeah,
think
oh,
we have
that's
to-
right, he hasn't done it.
We're just
But-
trying to make sure that we're trying to
Okay.
figure out what form. What I
Okay,
think is everybody, are we all in agreement that a request is okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll need you to fill out a request for determination there. You'll need to give us a drawing of what, you could probably take it off the assessor's map
okay,
and show us where the river is and where it is and where you're gonna,
Right,
Take-
where you're gonna put your fill in, you can take
you
and
can hand
actually,
draw it.
yeah, you can hand draw it, hash mark it.
That, we have this
Exactly.
coming up. So this is what they did for their thing.
So you
Okay.
can do a draw if you want. It's
Okay.
just so that we have some documentation and some description of what you're gonna do.
And then we would look maybe to making a negative determination, number 3 maybe,
Mhm.
but saying that there might be some requirements that we have. Mr. Kelleher was talking about the path, and you were talking about and silt, silt,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So-
then just receding.
So what we'll have you do is fill out the paperwork, you'll have to file with the town hall with Nancy,
Yeah.
pay the fee, and then fill out the, same thing, put in all that stuff, we'll put you on the next meeting.
Yeah,
How
if you could
quickly?
bring it up to me Thursday
okay,
in the selectman's office.
okay,
Yeah.
Is that okay? And then, it doesn't need what I call a DP number because all our regulatory powers, other than the bylaws of the town, come from Department of DP, Department of Environmental Protection. And so a second one goes to them and they have two. That's only for notice of intent. For this kind of thing, it stays right here with the commission. So that works out pretty well.
okay, so I have to fill up this form, draw on the map what I'm doing, and then submit it to you on Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay,
And unfortunately, there's a fee, but we
That's-
hopefully the cheaper of the two options, so hopefully that will help.
And
Okay.
in your map, you should maybe put in, where Mr. Keller was talking about maybe doing a siltation fence. So your contractor, the guy, will actually know what you're talking about. Some kind of fence that...
Something, I mean.
Still soccer, hay bales.
$55 at Lowell's,
hey, Bills?
Hay
Hay
bales,
bales?
silt, it's called the silt sock, it's a
Okay,
Yeah.
sock that gets driven into the ground, just so what it'll do is, we do have another heavy rain, and some of that soil does get washed away, it'll hit the silt stock and stay right there.
okay.
So I think anybody else have anything else now?
No.
So I think we're all set.
Okay.
So if you can get those things together for us, can we put him on for if you get that stuff into us by this Thursday,
Yes,
this Thursday?
Yeah.
This Thursday, we can put you on the agenda for the 27th.
okay.
Great, thank you for
Mr.
coming
Chair.
in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Good night.
Thanks.
You too.
Appreciate your help.
Thanks for getting that termination.
Oh, you're welcome.
Actually, it's handy because it's going to come up for our next one.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that's not,
That's not the thing.
We
it
can-
is handy.
Yeah. Okay, so next on the agenda, discussion on the dumpster Proximity to the wetlands.
That
And
was
this
the-
was brought up by the
Board of
Board of
Health.
Health.
How far, Nancy, do you still have the, I don't think, I remember the,
They were asking,
Distance.
they were asking for 20 feet.
you know, I did a lot of thinking about it,
Isn't it?
about the dumpster. And you know, the problem I have with the dumpster is they've got like trash and garbage
Refuse,
and,
yeah.
and refuse, and it goes into the water. And I think that's why the Board of Health wants to put it on a pad to sort of address some of that, because it would get absorbed by the tar or the pad. And I think it brought up a sort of a bigger issue for me, which was, you know, I don't think the 10 feet is enough. I think the 10 feet, for me, is enough when somebody's got like the backyard thing, landscaping. But when we are putting a building in, 10 feet's not enough for me, because there's not enough room for them to even build it right, because there's not enough room for the equipment, but I also don't think we have enough buffer. Because, you know, we're on the edge with 10 feet, you know, you can make a 5 feet mistake, or, you know, either way, that the wetlands are on one side or the other. It bothers me when we put a building right up to the wetlands, so. But as far as the dumpster goes, at a minimum, we should go 10 feet. The 20 feet, I think they're worried about the septic system and the groundwater. That's what I think, but I don't know.
So this was sent from Aaron White
Right.
on Monday, and it says, Board of Health is in the process of adopting dumpster regulations. Could you please, Conservation Commission, if 20-foot distance is acceptable for placement from any wetland? Each dumpster shall be located a minimum of 20 feet from any wetland resource area. Location in proximity to wetlands must also be approved by the Abington Conservation Commission or agent there. Thank you. So they're saying 20 feet is the minimum.
I think I like it.
And they're also saying that whoever does that has to come to Conservation Commission first, right? Is that what they're saying?
They're not saying that at
Oh,
all.
no, oh, I see.
It's
We
just,
have to have
they're
it-
just asking
It has to be
for,
approved by
to be
conservation.
approved.
But if somebody's putting a pad in 20 feet from a wetland, they're gonna have to come to us anyway.
I'd also with this too is that 20-foot minimum sloped away from wetlands. So that
Ooh, yeah.
they put it on a side of a embankment 20 feet, and the pad's right up against the embankment. It's just gonna go right down the embankment and into the wetlands.
So, is that what we should send to ask them to amend it?
Amend it for the 20-foot minimum is good, sloped away from any wetland resource area.
I make
If
that,
everybody's,
I make a motion to accept that with Joe's suggested change.
I second.
all's in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Correspondence.
Correspondence. So quick.
It's not the 8-minute meeting. You'll get there.
Oh, to Jerry. I don't think he got that, did he?
Oh,
You didn't get that, did you, Jerry?
Thank you.
Actually, do we have the minutes?
I didn't
Okay.
finish them.
Oh, that's good. Check that one. This is a letter from Copeland and Page on the enforcement order dated April 8th, 2014. And it's at Apple Tree Realty and Trust is professional, which we got that, the Pine Tree Consulting to look at doing an RDA instead of NOI for us for that. So our Copeland Page just said that they were gonna wait to see if it would resolve itself.
Oh, is it 2 copies of the same thing?
Copies.
Oh, okay.
Actually, yeah, one of each.
Yeah, we actually got it to us by email.
So we have the wetlands news.
Yes, sir.
Support your local firms. Oh, that's the Board of Appeals. A lot of times what we used to do is read through the addresses and see if we needed to tell them that we wanted them to come to visit us.
Okay, this is a petition to the Gosling Home Builders.
And sometimes they get the, sometimes
Notice is
it's,
attached. Then we,
it's good to look at the plans they give us because you can see where it is.
this is Meadows, 38 Bate Street. 3 Gosling Street is Gosling. And then we have petition of Greenway Boosters, Glenwood's Way, notice attached. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Gosling.
Oh, there's only one drawing?
Only one drawing.
Huh. Should we look at the drawing?
Well, Glenowitz is a sign, the sign at the end of the,
Oh, so
Oh,
we
they
don't
did the
care
sign.
the line.
just
We
to,
don't care.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Gosling.
There was a Bates and what was the street? Oh, Crossley.
The Volplex building, he's gonna take that down on Bates.
Where's Bates?
Bates is across from Trukey's. Or if you're coming down
That
north,
old thing
yeah.
there?
Yeah, the old green building with the X's all over it.
Ooh, yeah, that needs to
Which
come
one's
down.
that?
Ooh. And this is the Gosling, sorry, across the
Yeah.
street. Did Crossley come before the board before, Nancy?
It has, I didn't have a chance to pull the file.
I think it's sometime.
Can we just look at these maybe the next time we have a meeting? These two addresses?
Which,
Bates and Crossley Street, 'cause I,
we don't have anything on the Bates.
oh, yeah, there's no wetlands near it at all? I don't know, I haven't looked,
I
I've
don't
never
think
looked
so,
for
I don't.
Bates.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, I know the Highland Street, not road,
Mhm.
back, I think they filed years, because they're down in the gully, but I don't think, this may not be because it's up high enough. It's just across the street
Yeah.
is the Shumatuskets. I think it's too far away, the Bates one.
We have another one here for our annual meeting for the Massachusetts Municipal Conservation Professionals. Is this the same as,
When is that on? Is that the?
this is July 23rd annual meeting.
Oh, those are for professionals, the conservation
Oh.
professionals. That would,
That's not us.
I was gonna say that's not us.
Conservation, but that doesn't mean
Um,
it, just the detention basin.
Did somebody say this is Turkey's? Or?
Yeah.
No, this one is,
There's a crosswalk there.
hey, this is off of 139. This is, we're looking at Crossley Street,
Oh,
so it's off of 139.
Yeah, it looks like he's just doing the, drainage?
These because of the septic system, or not septic system. which the-
he's doing drainage here and he's doing, the house is right there.
Yeah.
They've made the town a contract with Brockton, right, or at least resolve their issues. So now septic is
Oh.
sewage is
Suppose-
wide open.
Supposedly.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's,
there's
I guess,
he's coming.
yeah, I guess
before.
it's in front of the, Brockton right now, whatever they're, not their commissioners, but they're, selectmen or whatever they have, so they have to approve it.
I think we should just look up Crossley Street, just because, I don't know. But, because it's in the overlay floodplain and wetlands district for the zoning, It's usually a trigger for them to send it to us, but I don't know.
We have the latest for the Northern Woodlands.
Dennis wants to read that.
I always get that. They actually want to renew it. There's also some good stuff here then. Brooding over cowbirds, bark peeling, black bears, and superweed for dinner.
Much more.
Superweed for dinner.
Yes.
I'm all set.
We have one for the Mass Audubon Society here. Award-winning Losing Ground. Planning for resilience, patterns of development and their impact on the nature of Massachusetts.
Well, they actually have interesting stuff. I still use the handbook that they had from the Conservation Act when it came out in the 1970s. They had a handbook on it, and that's how I learned about conservation. So.
Can I borrow this? I'll pass it along. Are you
Yeah.
okay? Just
You can have
File it.
This one actually looks pretty good.
And I'll borrow this, Nancy.
Actually, can I get the other?
Sure you can. That's the zoning.
And I haven't asked, Nancy asked me, and I haven't asked it, but last time we were here, we had a, not order of conditions. Came from DEP. It was a letter from DEP for Linwood Street. Somebody scooped it up in their packet. So if you can look at home.
Oh,
Oh,
that
it
was,
was
that was the
Superseding.
superseding
order
order, yes.
Yeah.
for that Linwood Street.
Yes.
I think they upheld it. They put some maintenance caveat in the
Right.
But they
But
upheld ours.
They
That was
did.
our last meeting.
Yes,
I missed
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
and
They upheld it.
DEP did have another, because we asked for one, and they said, well, we sent you one.
Yeah, tough, right, yeah.
You could look at home, see if you got anything at home.
Is this
I wasn't here.
for ours? For now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the superseding from
It was when we did the
DEP.
correspondence last week, I handed it around, and it
One
said
of us-
DEP.
One
and
of us probably thought it was ours.
We had a whole bunch of paperwork.
Lifted
out
it.
there.
We lifted it.
I mean, for permit to get going, that's all I have.
And then
I
the-
had-
You look
I
like
had a
you were really
question, too.
busy, Jerry.
For Chen, well,
They came in and
What?
they had a notice of intent when they built their house, and they're gonna add a garage.
Look at all those building
And they wanted,
permits.
or I did,
Wow.
what do they have to file? Is that a request or
coffee, talk to the neighbors.
notice of intent?
Griffin's Dairy.
So when they came in before, they already had a
No, that's not a
notice of intent on the property.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes way, way back to,
Is it really?
Yeah,
Have you seen the letter?
yeah.
Have you seen the?
90.
I-
1990.
Oh, there's Griffin's Dairy. I see it. Yeah.
Um,
We'll talk about it in a minute when Joe's
is this-
listening to
Is
it.
this Mr. Bradstreet's one?
Let's look at, actually, do you have the files right there?
That's where I got that out of.
So there doesn't show any wetlands around here.
What is that?
This is their
Yeah,
ask, what, just with the
the
exit?
Yeah,
They want to put on a screen porch plus a garage on attached here. They want to know if they do an RDA or a NOI. The original property had a NOI on it, but it was back in the 1990s.
Where is
This is...
59 Oak Street.
And this wetlands line, Nancy?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell how far away it is?
It's close.
It's close. That's an NOI for what they're putting on, I think. A
pretty-
24 by 28 garage.
It's Oak Street
That's
in
a
the front.
foundation. That's a foundation.
Mhm.
That's a notice of intent, I think. Here, I'll pass it along so you guys can look. But a porch,
What does everybody think?
notice of intent. 24 by
Excuse me.
28 garage, it's gotta have a foundation. It's gonna be dirt, moving and equipment, moving around.
Wow, this is a lot different, huh?
Oh, that was
Oh, yeah.
ancient,
Oh my God.
90.
Is there a plan that even went with this thing?
Yes, actually, the files. Is that the original file?
But the X's are the wetlands line. And if you look at the dimension, the whole width of the 109 feet, so it's pretty close to the house. And they're putting on 2 additions to it, it's like a garage for 24 by 28, and then
Sunport.
a sun porch. They're gonna put, it's gonna be a foundation, and you're gonna be bringing equipment in. So I think they need a notice.
There's no, yeah, there's no,
Yeah.
there's no, this is just the mortgage inspection documents. There's no paperwork I have for as far as the
What's in the
drawing.
envelope?
That was
Just
it.
paperwork, it's just paperwork.
I think that was the only drawing there.
So I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Building permits and site visits. Jerry. What do you have?
This,
You were-
so, what's it?
You were busy last week.
Yes, I thought you were helping me.
I helped you with one.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you were
Difference
there.
Yeah.
So, you talked to Mr. Delbrat?
I did not. What I did is I
I
went
have
through.
all the pertinent information for that.
Did you? Good. I want to hear it.
But still, all there was a shed in the backyard. Sorry, I'm trying to read everything, I'm doing it. Every street before, and they changed the pool from one side of the yard to the other. You know, I saw that. Washington Street is, putting a pool in. Most of them are pools. Linwood Street is an addition, and there's no wetlands involved there. It's just putting directly behind the house and stuff like that, everybody wants to see it. And Market Road, he was before us, and then I went down and saw it after, and they have, we have a plan with that stream, that brook is, so, I mean, he's right, he should have this silt fence along that brook. That was easy enough. In Griffin's Dairy.
Skip that and do the rest of them, and then get to.
Oh, all right, we'll do that. Groveland Street was, Cape Cod Lumber had the sock fence up, and they were working for that new building. What they wanted to do was, they wanted to reach over, there was junk, if anybody remembers that old house that was there, and there was junk still in the woods, and they just wanted me to say, okay, you can reach over and bring the junk and put it in the dumps and take it away.
Oh, nice.
So, which was good on that, you know, they're doing that. Pack Ave was for a pool. Spruce Street I had to fail at. Oh my God, they're still doing it. Nancy's house. 502 Adams was a shed. And Groveland Street again, I don't know, once, twice, must be the
Okay.
Coffee day.
Griffin's Dairy. There is a letter from Mr. Dombrowski to the selectmen, which moved it to Nancy, which comes to us. Nancy asked me what was going on up there. They were mowing, and if you want to read it, it's all about the mowing. And this is the stuff from a couple of years ago when the other board was going on. I went up and saw Mr. Delfred. I mean, as everybody knows, the Delfred and Rec, then they're experienced people taking times. He was thrashing up the, he said to me that he had a call from Mr. Donovan, Cracker Donovan, to mow the field. He'd given a price years ago. So he went up there and mowed it. And while in the process of mowing it, he saw Mr. Griffin, Vinnie Griffin, which he lives on Monroe Street. Is it? No, Monroe Street? Whatever.
Yeah,
And
Monroe Street.
he told him there were the wetlands, but he did his best as could. He said if it was wetland, his machine would seek a little bit, he went away from him. So he was doing the best he could, as I could presume that anybody could under the circumstances. There's nothing you can, just finishing up, so as I said before, he's experienced in taking that stuff, because they have been doing farms all their lives in Rockland.
Yeah, I think he begins his letter by saying that mowing was taking place on wetlands. And he says in the second paragraph that the Conservation Commission never said that was to take place in wetlands. I mean, there's a simple fix for that is we can look at the orders if we have to.
I'm right here, notice of intent, and what I did is I read the meeting minutes from all of the meetings. I was getting confused on the notice of intent and the order of conditions. On the notice of intent, general information said, it said returning Griffin's Farm to agricultural use for the purpose of grass cutting and hay baling within the wetlands and the 100-foot buffer area.
Yeah.
So.
Says it all, right?
Correct. Now, he's stating in his letter that it was mowing and hay baling and removed from the fields. This is not simply mowed and cutting is left in place. Well, according to, I think it was their plan 3 years ago, from what I can tell in this, is that they need to mow it 3 years constantly and let it lie fallow before they can bale it. This is the third.
The fact that the hay is, the growing with all that stuff hasn't been maintained, and there's junk that can go in it. And the only thing they can use it for is construction,
Right.
Hay bales, so it can't be used to feed in the animals. But it is tough stuff when you go out there, you can see it. But I mean, he was doing the best he could.
Right. And so what
Under the circumstances.
So what I saw him mowing is he mowed all in these areas right here, plus in this area that was right there. But where you can see in the areas that used to be very, very wet, that was down here, and there was like 3 little culverts or ruts or what that had different plants in them, he stayed away from. He went right up to them, but he stayed away from them. And then he mowed all in this area that's right around here also too. So, but if you read his letter.
Is there a plan that they submitted this plan?
From what I understood and took, and I didn't talk to the guy that was mowing. He was just to go out and mow the areas that would be hayable. So in his mind, they didn't tell him to stay away from this. He just mowed everything.
Did we require in the order of conditions that hay bales be put up or anything?
In this, I
actually, maybe
did
we
not
did.
see that.
Maybe we did in our thing.
Were you here for this one?
I was at this. I have to say that I wasn't. I think it's a great idea to actually cut, because it was getting out.
Yeah, it was,
and in
because
fact, wetlands.
he had that machine was throwing up, so what's he doing is throwing air in it so that it falls down and feeds what's there.
Here's the order of conditions here, and it gives, I didn't read
The
all the way
underlying.
through it, but it didn't. There's no description in there of what they're supposed to do. It just gives all the H numbers. And
They were just, and in fact, they haven't
They
had
don't have
somebody sign off because this
where is
was.
it? There it is.
There was one group that
G1
wanted
through
to
G7.
make this a
H.
dairy farm again, and the town manager was particularly active.
Limit of
Then
work is
Dropping
was
line.
particularly
Yeah,
active in
so.
that. But I think that disappeared with the town manager, didn't it? I myself thought it was, to be honest, a waste of really good land that the townspeople would use. I didn't see why we should be giving this to some farmer in Norwell. Seemed really odd to me. But the cutting of the grass was an excellent idea because wetlands are forming, and I think we did say to go ahead and cut the grass, which is well within is a
Right.
activity well within allowed
And
within.
even Mr. Dabrowski in his letter here says, although Wetlands Protection Act has provisions for agriculture activities within wetlands and activities of just mowing the grass, is questionable as whether it is qualified as an agricultural activity.
Yeah.
Since no baling of hay is expected to take place, this can be viewed simply as manipulation of vegetation. I mean, they are doing it. Their plan is to bale it. It's just they're doing it the way that they can.
Whether
So
it's for engineering or for feeding.
I think it's important.
Are they gonna bale the hay after this, or are they just letting it, they needed to do 3 years of?
cutting so that they can take and run it. I think they need to till it over now, and then they'll seed it with like a winter rye or something, and then it'll come back up in the spring and it'll
And this was approved in 2012.
correct.
Which means they have another probably season before they can, September of 2012. So they
I wonder if
have,
they cut it spring and fall,
yeah, I don't know.
and that would be one growing season though.
Done 3 years ago. He told me, he
He
put a bid
started-
in 3 or 4 years ago to do
Okay.
it.
But it's
And then
2012 is when we got the notice of intent. So that was only
2.
Well, all right, then
Not even 2
still,
years, almost 2 years ago.
And then they were
So
saying
they
too
probably have
that,
another
they
year.
haven't done anything about it, so
Right.
like Joe just said, they gotta start doing something to get that hay back to being,
Right,
Usable.
it takes 3 years is what Joe had heard. Okay,
I think it's also important to see the context of this letter. So if you look at the very last paragraph of this letter, it says, along with this consideration, it would also be suggested to create an agricultural commission to manage and oversee this land similar to that which is in place for Strawberry Golf Course, town-owned recreational land. This gentleman, Mr. Brasky, is an advocate for this land going into agricultural trust. And just so you know, the people that are in charge of this land at the moment, that are responsible for it, actually are not the Griffin's Dairy Commission, but us. The Conservation Commission, the selectmen are in charge of it, and under us, under selectmen we're actually in trust of this. If it goes into agricultural trust, that will be taken out of the Commission's purview, because there's a different set of rules. Basically, there's not many rules at all for land that's in agricultural trust. And so anything to do with it wouldn't be an issue, just so you know. I mean, that's why and we should look at this in the context of the writer, who is very keen on land going into agricultural trust. But anyway, we actually did say that they could mow it. So, I mean, if this is a complaint, we actually did say we could mow it. Do we have to respond to this?
I've spoken to, what's her name here?
Oh.
Tina Davis,
Yeah.
once, last week around Wednesday, and just, I asked her to give me a little bit more time so I could talk to a few people. The other thing is that, and I just asked Nancy, did Pine, what is it, Pine Brook?
it's done by Pembroke, it was or Huss.
I think it was Pine Brook.
Mhm.
Pine Brook did the wetlands, the flagging.
Yeah.
Do we have there, don't they usually do a report?
It's usually in the it's usually in the file.
Yeah, I've probably got it. Do you
Okay.
want it?
Yes, if you know,
I know where it is.
okay. That way I can see exactly what they were talking about, because they just blanketly said wetlands, and this looks the same as what's over here. So I don't know what they're calling wetlands.
Well,
Is it a wet meadow? Is it a,
What do you think is the
grassy meadow?
question, though, in front of it? Is the question in front of us, did we allow them to cut the grass?
I think if,
Because the answer is yes.
just like you said, if you read his letter, I think he wants it cut and baled, used for agricultural purposes. The other thing I also think he's looking for, and I don't know if we have it yet, is the town to put together a farming map to go through the USDA agriculture to get back to its agricultural use. I think that's the other thing that he would like to see happen with the land. I don't know if the town has done that yet.
Or if the town has an inkling to do that.
To do
Or if
that.
the town wants to do that, because I wonder, do ordinary people realise that this land would be literally taken out of their hands,
Right.
for an agriculture. And the amazing thing was that there was never any input from any farmer. I mean, they were just saying that this guy in Norwell they wanted to give the land to. I was last of apparently.
Thank you.
It was the oddest thing.
Yeah, so I think that basically I'm not sure if I just call up Tina Davis and say, okay, we've looked at it, this is what it is. This is a big file.
We've got to have a look at it. We're doing to have a look at it. It's definitely within the parameters of what we allowed.
most likely the flags are probably on by now.
Yeah, and in the,
And they did not require any long-term demarcation of the flagging, nor did they require any silt fences. They only put in, our special conditions, they started at GH now. So there was obviously an intent to allow them all.
Yeah, I remember the meeting.
Yeah,
yeah, because
this
they,
whole agricultural thing we rarely see,
But it's not agricultural land. It's very important. to
no,
know.
it's not agricultural, but agricultural use is still
Yeah.
what that is. It's basically hay baling, farming, I should say. The hay. I can't imagine, yeah, I think it was a big deal back then because there was some discussion, there was some pretty big discussion about the wetlands.
The only thing that they had in their meeting minutes was they had a discrepancy on two flags, and that was it.
Mhm.
Other than that, everybody agreed upon the wetlands flagging and everything else, so.
The commission actually went out to have a look at it, which wasn't an easy thing, I have to say.
That's, I've been out there, it's brutal. If you're trying to get towards the wetlands.
Mowed now. You can
Yeah,
walk it, it's
now
really
you
good.
can, but. So, I think you're gonna look for the wetlands report, but, and you're gonna talk to Tina Davies?
Yes, and I'll just tell her what we found and what I found in the stuff, and that we think it was perfectly within
Within our
the
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction to have the,
Do we owe anybody a response, Nancy?
Just Tina Davies.
I think she'll respond back to Mr. Dombrowski.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to copy the
Him
town
on it.
manager on it so he knows we responded.
Okay. I don't see anything.
No, I can't imagine there wasn't a report done. Worst comes to worst, you know, we can probably request it from Pinebrook if we have
Yeah.
to, or Russ.
I could do that.
I bet you we could just ask Russ.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might be the easiest thing to do.
So that was that.
This too?
So do we have any new business? Anybody have any new business? Anything new?
You had something else written on your sheet.
Oh, that's 515. I was gonna look into that. 515 Bedford Street. We still haven't got a response back from them,
Oh, yeah.
so. Wait. I think that was it.
Nancy, did we send it certified mail?
The 1550, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we got it back. I mean, somebody signed for it.
Which one is that, Joe? Is that the one up by the?
Yeah, that's the one by the Abington Weymouth line.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I went and saw?
Yeah. So they received it. They
So
just haven't
somebody did,
contacted back.
yeah. Yeah, on May 30th.
So, sending it out, getting a response back, what would we,
Did we ask them to come to a particular meeting? Or?
I think we did.
See if you're careful.
I think we had a June 10th meeting,
I would say this
and they never showed.
Oh, yeah.
So, should we send them another letter inviting them to the July 22nd meeting?
Do you want me to, I'll get with you and,
Did we send them an enforcement order?
No, it was a letter.
it was a letter first, so I think this time it'll be a, they're not doing any work on the property.
Oh, no, it was an enforcement order.
Wow. And they didn't respond.
Filling with wetlands that rear the property, constructing buildings within 100 feet of wetlands. I guess we could,
Why don't we send them another letter to see if we can tell them that they're on?
They have buildings on there that the town didn't even know about.
right,
Correct. And, you know, I
They-
prefer not to move into our fine sequence, but I think you might, if you could remind them that, send them the fine bylaw, if it wasn't attached before, Nancy.
And I went up,
with this, with,
walked on Mr.
we did send this, do we send them, ask them to come before us?
Oh, jeez,
Thank you,
When we sent this out, did we ask them to come before us at a certain date or no? No?
Let's see. Yeah. We asked them to file a notice of intent by the 10th of June.
Okay.
So maybe we should just invite them to our next meeting
I think just exactly what you said, I think we should need to invite them to the next meeting and then.
and send them a copy of the enforcement order, but also a copy of our enforcement bylaw.
Right, exactly, and say that the next letter will be from probably from our attorney with
Mhm.
the first initial slap of the rest of a fine.
Mhm.
All right,
What would you find them
You'll-
for?
I'll come in with you, yeah,
For not
Okay.
finding it?
so we can try and
So
formulate
No,
a
for no,
good
not filing the notice of intent
letter.
and
Okay.
non-responsiveness, you know, because they put buildings in without any kind of,
I'll
I mean, they basically
call
built
Russ
buildings
Wheaton's
without a
office
permit.
tomorrow to
so-
see if we can get a copy of the
Anyhow.
Well, the assessors in the building
Um,
department was supposed to be working because of
Wetlands
the
report
building
from-
permits filed,
Okay.
Highbrook.
and then they, I mean, they have an 8-foot fence, all,
Yeah, I understand.
so you
You
can't see in.
You can't see them. I've been by
And I
them.
went around and then somebody yelled at me, but, oh, all right.
All right.
Do we know who the owner is of this land?
Um,
Who was the letter sent to?
Yeah, the owner of the property.
What is this? Retain in revocable trust, Matthew. I can't say that last one. He's the trustee. He lives in Weymouth. 61 something street, Weymouth. Yes.
Sorry, what's the last name?
You can't say it.
Yeah.
You can't pronounce it.
Chiaventura.
Oh,
Ciavattitieri. He's a trustee. He lives on 61 Burns Way in South Weymouth.
is there anything you can look at? We can't see there because of the fence.
What, along Gostin's property into the back, saw where they're filling in the wetlands.
So I'm gonna send him a strong letter with a fine structure and ask him to come in front of the board
For our
on
next
the
meeting.
27th.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, you can
It's
serve the
consequences.
enforcement order, yeah.
you know,
Well, we've given an enforcement order, right?
Right.
Yes.
What do you
So
mean
we can
serve it?
enforce it. You can have a constable out to serve it.
Oh.
But actually past the date of the meeting. Yeah.
Now I remember, I got a call from the person that I left my card on his door about filling in the wetlands. And at the time, I was driving by along the highway, and I had to pull over and talk to him. He was going on and on and on. And I said, sir, so, I mean, I'm just a part-time, I don't get paid for this. I went there, I saw somebody filling in the wetlands, and, well, we haven't done anything there for you. I said, sir, I was a contractor, don't tell me you weren't there last week, because I can tell where you pushed it over. And the conversation went on, and finally I said to him, he was talking, I said, sir, I gotta go, I got business to do. And I hung up. And then I got a call back, very nasty about me hanging up, so that's how it went down. But like I said, I'm driving along the highway, I'm pulling over, I'll talk to you.
Jerry, you always get the best stuff.
Yeah, I know that. Next time.
Next time I'll take that
Nancy,
one.
would you check with Joe first?
Let me give you the chair's number.
Yeah.
That's all. You pull over next time, pull out the piece of paper, go, no, listen, Joe Feeney, here's his number. Call him. All right.
A letter with fine sounds good, but I mean, that's, there's an example of, the other one we were trying to get the guy to do was a notice of intent, and so there, it seemed a waste of money to really, because he really should do that. But in this case, this is an enforcement order where they're just totally ignoring us. In 1212 Bedford Street, the poor guy would come in, and
Right.
he just.
No, there wasn't a need, I don't think we've gotten to something like this where there's been a need to do something different. And it would be worth having the constable deliver it, but they would have to go to Weymouth to deliver it.
Yeah, or maybe we refer it to the town manager for it to the council.
Mhm.
But that's after the letter, after
Yeah.
one more attempt.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's give it another,
Why not?
one more run.
And should we put the Pine Brook Consulting on our next meeting? We can discuss that then?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And we'll get time to look at this and muddle it over. All right, anything else?